So good day, sir. So these are my learnings about the topic that is provided in each module. In Unit 1, about self-interpretation and disclosure. The self from various perspectives about philosophy determine how self has been represented in different philosophical perspectives. There's 11 philosophers who determine what is self. First, Socrates. According to him, know thyself, Socrates was very fascinated with the quest for knowing oneself. Next is Plato. Since the soul is self and temporarily stays in the body, he believes that reincarnation, the latter should be nourished with virtues, not vices. Augustine. He believed that a human person has an imperfect aspect which desires to be with the divine and at the same time consists with another one which aims to become immortal. Next is John Locke. He opposed the idea of innate knowledge, thus he proposed that knowledge are simple ideas that came from experiences using the senses. Next is David Hume. He contends that all knowledge is derived from human. Next is Immanuel Kant. He recognizes the importance of senses, for he believes that all our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds to understanding, and ends with reason. Sigmund Freud. He argued that a human person has an imperfect aspect, which desires to be with the divine, at the same time consists with another one which aims to become immortal. Next is Gilbert Ryle. According to him, the self-ego is best measured by a person's action. I act, therefore I am. What we do is based on what the mind tells us, but the mind is distinct from the body. It is not just a ghost in machine. There is not such thing as non-physical self. Next is René Descartes. René Descartes' proposition, cogito ergo sum, or I think therefore I am, regards self as a thinking self. He believes that he is capable of thinking, and since there is no more doubt in his thoughts about himself, he strongly contends that he exists. Next is Patricia Churchland. Supports the idea that to understand the mind, we must understand the brain. She agrees that common sense must be revised in specifically reductionistic way in biological level to understand more about the brain function. Next is Merleau-Ponty. According to her, the body is the primary contact with the world. As for her, we cannot totally perceive the world unless we have the experience of it, thus the body is essential. After reading all of the ideas of philosophers, I realized a lot and found out what the true meaning of self is. Therefore, I conclude based on what I understand in this topic, for me the word self distinguishes the differences of each and every one of us. We are the one who control of ourselves, and the action we take depend on what each one is going through. Self is having a capacity to understand and having an awareness, an experience that has been reflected upon and thus becomes conscious. An encounter with new perspectives in this context can even lead to changes of one's own reflected experience. Sometimes it's really hard to identify who really are, especially when we go through a lot. Like me now, I go through a lot, but my experiences have shaped me even more to be even more stronger. My experiences shape myself.